Hi everyone, back again. I'm Xanthi and welcome to my channel In Two Pieces, or welcome back if you've been here before. Thank you for tuning in. And now in a previous video I did a theme of 1500 piece puzzles, and I pulled out all the ones in my collection to show you. Well, I decided to do that with my 2000s, and yet again I was quite shocked to find out how many 2000s I have, especially since I don't do them very often, and that's probably why a few of these have collected dust over the years. But I decided that I had looked through them, decided to do two of them, and then I'll report back on my experience doing them. But in the meantime, I thought I would show you what I've got in my collection. So I am actually going to start with the ones that I have deep regrets. Now, when I first started really seriously buying puzzles, I saw an image, I loved it, and I thought, yeah, I'll get that. Not stopping to think that maybe out of 2000, that might be a little bit hard and maybe not as fun. And anyway, so I'm a bit more discerning now than what I used to be, but I still intend to do these puzzles. So let's begin with my kind of regretsy sort of type ones. So we'll start with the worst. This is Masterpiece of Western Art. So it's basically the Sistine Chapel ceiling done as cats. It is awfully cute. It is going to be super challenging. I can just tell. It's by Gallison. It's going to be a decent quality. But yeah, what was I thinking? Oops. And also in the what was I thinking category was this one by Eurographics called World of Cats. And as you can see, it's a whole lot of white with a whole little images. At the back, it does show like the actual size, so, but that is a lot of white and a lot of fur. I bought this secondhand as well, so I don't know if it's complete. So we'll see. I think this would have been good as 1,000 maybe, but as a 2,000, challenging. So, and also challenging is these two Dean Russo ones, part of the Jolly Pet series. Now, I think I shared Necessity Cat in my 1,500 video, and pop art style, beautiful, challenging to do even as a 500, or even, like a 1,000. 2,000, goodness knows. And this one's got quite a lot of dark areas again, so that's going to be challenging. This one's called Abyssinian because that's the breed of the cat, I guess. And the other one is also challenging and in the series called Lion's Heart. I do like this series. At the back, you can see images of some of the others. There's way more than this in the series. But I tend to collect the cat, whether it's domestic or large sort of cats, ones of that, but there's heaps more. And moving on, speaking of challenging, it's not just the image and the fact that it's a 2000 that's challenging. When you throw random cut into the mix, it gets even more challenging, and that's what we have here with the Cobble Hills. And I had a look, and it looks like, yes, indeed, all of them are random cut. And I don't do well with random cut. So this one is, what is this one called? It's a Bookish one, Story Time. Sort of vintage book covers on shelves. I do like shelves and, of course, Bookish themes. But the random cut is going to make things tricky for me, especially as a 2000. Put that one down here. Now this one at least is colourful. It's part of that series by Shelley Davies, the one they brought out a colour, a 1,000 piece puzzle for each colour, which looks like fun. It's very busy. There's a lot going on here, but I think it will still be fun just because of the sort of gradient that's happening here. So I'm not too worried about that one. I am concerned about this one. Now, a lot of them were landscape. This one is portrait orientation. A lot of fur and quite a bit of brown, as you can see. Cats and books, absolutely love that combo, but as a 2000, and especially as a random cut, I think it's going to be challenging. I think I'm also going to find it quite challenging doing it as portrait orientation. I might end up having to do it side on just for ease, but I don't know, that might make it a bit more difficult. Who knows? And then moving on to the one Seiko one that I have. This one's by Lisa Parker, another one of my favorite artists. I think this one's called Sherlock Holmes. Sherlock Holmes Mystery. It's awfully cute, and of course it plays on the whole Sherlock Holmes thing. This one does come with a poster. Some of these, like the Cobbly Hill, do come with posters, and I say that in just 1,000 or less, I don't really need a poster most of the time. But a 2000, I love a poster, especially if that's busy image, because I like to be able to study the poster. It's a bit easier than grabbing the box lid all the time. So I'm happy about that. Now we have here some buffaloes. A Sunken Treasure by Amy Stewart. Nice and bright and colourful, as you would expect from Amy Stewart. I really don't know if a poster is included in this. I can't see any sort of mention of one, which would be a shame, but we'll see. Might get a pleasant surprise, open that up and find one. And another Amy Stewart called Yard Sale. Super busy, lot going on in here. But I think it will still be lots of fun. Yeah, Amy Stewart's are usually quite a lot of fun. And another Amy Stewart, Winterland Fun. Now, it's so hot where I live that I often do these sort of images in summer, just because it makes me, I don't know, psychologically feel cooler. I don't know. But I'll tell you something, in the middle of the heat, I don't want to do a summery sort of looking puzzle. That just, yeah, it's too much. So maybe this one will get done in summer. And finally, in the buffaloes is Succulent Season, which is nice and bright. It's colourful. It's got a bit of orange, sort of brownish orange background, but there's not too much of it, so I think I can work around that. So that one's quite cute. And now moving on to my Ravensburger, I've got quite a few of those, and it's, you know, a few of them have been in my collection for a while. I need to do something about that. This one was by Edward, and it's called Cove Manor Echoes. I did share this in my haul video, I think from June, so we won't linger too long, but I do like this sort of juxtaposition of decay and new. I think that's quite interesting. This is my very first Demelza Horton puzzle that I bought, I think. It's called Novel Avenue. It's beautiful. Fortunately, it has been languishing on my shelves for a while. I've got to change that because it's a bookish theme, and it's just, she's got a very dreamy kind of like style to her artwork that just, you know, it appeals to me and to a lot of people. Now, I don't know, this is one of the ones of, I don't know what I was thinking. Man. It's secondhand again, so I don't know if it's complete or not. It's called World's Highest Buildings, and it's got the building names down below and how tall they are. Buildings are my downfall. I tend to struggle with them, especially in speed puzzling. I will not be speed puzzling in 2000, but even still, yeah, I struggle with buildings. And this has got blue sky, and it's got buildings, and it's got dark bits. So, you know, it's got a trifecta of difficulty. So, but, you know, I am determined to get these ones done. And with my, I've got some more Ravensburger ones here by Zoe Sadler. I think I said in my 1500 video that I do like her quirky style. And I noticed that quite a few of hers come in the larger piece counts. And I wonder if that's because they're kind of busy. There's a lot of detail. And maybe they look better as a 2000. I don't know. This one's called Magical Merlin because it's got that magician right there in the middle. There's quite a bit going on there. There's a lot of blue. It's a lot of samey colours, so that might be a bit tricky. Worth doing though, because I do like her style. Including this one's got a little bit more of a Halloween vibe for me. It's called Poisons and Potions, and I do like the shelf sort of configuration there of that image. And I think, oh yes, one more. Going back to Amy Stewart. What's this one called? Animals. Oh, there's a few different names here. World Kingdom Shelves. Okay, they've misspelt the word kingdom. It's Kindom. Oops. But anyway, it's a beautiful one in the shelf series there. There is this one here which is a bit more colourful, by Amy Stewart, World of Books. So yeah, that one is very nice to look at and probably very nice to do. Now, in my previous, again, haul video, I did mention this one by Pixie Cold, A Witch's Favourite Things. So we won't linger too much since I've covered this one before. And my last Ravensburger 2000, a bit embarrassed that this one has sat for so long in my collection undone, but it is The Worst Comes Prepared. And it's basically the Disney villains. It's quite dark, but I know I'm going to love doing this because I just love the Disney villains. And I absolutely love the title, The Worst Comes Prepared. And it is part of their Villainous series. And I think this came out along with the first round of the Villainous series. I think it was the six Jigsaws. There's one left here that is the only Anatolian one that I have. That's a 2000. And I might regret this one. There's quite a lot of darkness here. There's a lot of browns, and then there's sort of these busy sort of little areas there with the bookshelves. But, you know, it's a biblio theme, so no wonder I was drawn to it. Now, in my 1500 video, I chose 3 puzzles to do, for all from different brands. And if I remember correctly, one was a Ravensburger, one was a Buffalo Games, and one was a Clementoni. So I decided for this 2000 exploration, I would pick different brands to do. And so I chose this Seiko one. And I don't think I'm going to struggle too much with this one. I think this one's going to be right up my alley. It is called Perfect Cats. Of course it is. Perfect Cats, of course. And it does come with a poster, so that's going to be good. I think I will be using the poster. And I love all the little punny names of the book titles and stuff in there. So I think I am going to enjoy that one. The one that I think I'm going to struggle with, but I want to challenge myself, is this Hey one. And I think it's just called Paradise. And you can see it's kind of like a 2-in-1. One side's like wintry, one side's summery. And it's part of their cartoon classics. And yeah, it's very detailed. So I think I will be closely looking at the image to try and get this one done. But I'm determined to get it done. And I know with Hey, it's going to be decent quality. So that is my little tour of my 2000s. Now, I have a funny feeling that I might actually have 1 or 2 more that I haven't been able to dig out or, you know, find. But this is, I'd say, almost all of them. So, I will come back and let you know how I went with the practicalities, the logistics, and just the, you know, enjoyment of doing a higher piece count. So I'll be back soon. Back again. So in the first part of this video, I thought that I had left out at least one 2000 piece puzzle in my collection. As it turned out, after having a bit of a dig around afterwards, I discovered that there were 3 that I had left out. So I thought I'd quickly go through them before I get on to the 2 that I completed. So first up, we have this Castellan puzzle, and it's a whole lot of cats and with some books. So that's, you know, that's my kind of thing. Yes, there's a lot of fur there, and yes, I would torture myself doing all that fur in a 2000 piece puzzle. So there's that one. And then there's this Clementoni. It's just called Gradient, and it's part of the Color Boom collection. And I think this would be so much fun to do, so relaxing. There's something about gradients that just, they flow along really well, but I've never done one this large. So it'd be interesting to see if I feel the same way about, doing a 2000. But that's for another day. And lastly, I've got this one, Castle of Horror by Hay, and it is, fairly busy. Not probably the busiest I've seen. It's got a lot of sort of like, vampire castle sort of thing. So again, the aesthetic is very much me. It comes with a poster, thank goodness, because I think I'll probably need it. I did buy this one secondhand, so I don't know if it's going to be complete or not, but I'll risk it. So yeah, they are the final 2000s in my collection. Now, to the ones that I actually did do. So the first one, the Seiko, however you pronounce it, was the Perfect Cats. And I have to say that, yes, I thoroughly enjoyed doing this one. The pieces were actually quite large, but I like that. It did take up more space on my table. But what I liked about it is that because the pieces were large, I didn't have to peer too closely further away from me to see what the image was, and did the piece in my hand go there. I could just sort of glance at it and go, oh yeah, it goes there, and just reach across and it goes in okay. So yeah, the Seiko brand is, it's not like a Hay or a Ravensburger, but I think it's still decent enough to commit the time and, the effort into doing a 2000 of theirs. And there was one curious thing that I did notice about doing this one, was that, and I'll pop up an image of it. I noticed that sort of in the halfway point on the top and bottom edge, was that it looked misaligned. There was like a little sort of, it was cut, like it looked like it was the one half of the puzzle was cut, and then the second half of the puzzle was cut, but they didn't meet up in the middle. But the good thing is that it didn't really affect the image going up and down the middle. It wasn't like the two halves were sort of off kilter. They were still fine. It's just, I think the bit there that wasn't cut straight across, so it was just off by a millimeter or something. It wasn't huge, but I had never seen that before, not from this brand or another brand in fact. So maybe I just got unlucky just getting one that was, just a little bit off, but it wasn't enough to sort of really bother me that much, to be honest. So actually tackling this image was interesting. I pulled out a lot of the lettering first, because that seemed obvious. I also pulled out sort of like the string, the yarn, that texture felt obvious to me. And anything that really stood out as I immediately recognized what it was. And then I went a little bit by color as well. So it was a mixture of techniques to get this one done. And I think the bit that got done last was perhaps all like these little white flowers that go throughout. So, I mean, overall, the image was delightful to do. And I thought that the quality was decent enough. And yes, it came with a poster, and I did use the poster to help me along. Now, on a completely different puzzling experience was, as I predicted, this Hay Paradise 2000 by Michael Reba. I think pronounce it Reba. Is it Reba? But anyway, this is a classic case of enjoy the image, but not so much enjoy the puzzling experience, because it was just so busy. It kind of helped that it was kind of like two sides quite different, all this white with the snow, then all the sort of the golden colors here on the summer side. But some areas got so detail heavy that I noticed that as I was puzzling it, I was getting a lot of gaps and holes. Usually when I puzzle, I'll do big chunks here and there and I'll connect islands. No, this was so like pick and place. That was all these little gaps in between that I was trying to fill up. And I started, for some reason, I started up on the trees and the sky I did. Then I moved on to a few of the characters here in the snow. Also like a lot of the goldeny bits on the summer side, and I did like both of the trees. And then it was just basically just trying to sort of fill gaps as I went. There is quite a sort of curious details in this. There is like a pastiche of like I'd say it was Goofy, Donald Duck, and Snoopy. It's like, oh, just different enough to sort of dodge any copyright, but just enough to sort of for you to recognize that it was, poking a bit of fun of those characters. So that was curious. And as I puzzled it, I discovered more and more funny little details. And with this artist, you will notice there's quite a bit of nudity and risque elements to it. So yeah, so I ended up doing this one. Took me a few days to complete. The Seco one, so, like about 2 days or whatever. That one wasn't too bad, but this one, it took me way longer, and I ended up, I think, getting my partner Marcus to come in when I was about 3/4 of the way in to help me finish it. Now, you would think 3/4 of the way in, you're almost there. Why don't you just keep going and doing it on your own? No, but I was just so fed up by then that it didn't get easier as it went. That was the thing. Normal puzzles, as you go, you got less pieces, it gets easier. No, not this one. It was still a struggle. So he's really great at fine detail and pick and place. So I got him to help me to finally finish this one off. So we finished it together. And this is definitely one I will be moving on. Hey, great quality, but the pieces are quite small compared to the Seco one, which was good because it fit onto this table quite easily. But I like the Seco one. I really had to stretch, and I ended up having to stand and bend over to place the pieces further away from me. Now, I think someone on a previous video commented and saying, well, why don't you just, like walk around, the other side of the table, or perhaps, flip it. Well, I did it on a board, and trying to flip the whole board was awkward. And as for like changing where I was sitting to do it, also awkward because I've got quite a small home and area, so I would have to push this table right out in the middle of the floor space, and it was getting in everyone's way. So that's why, I tend to sort of puzzle, reaching over and stuff. And plus, I'm one of those people that doesn't really enjoy puzzling upside down. I do it for teams, but yeah, for just leisurely puzzling, I prefer not to do that. Especially with such a highly detailed one. Trying to do this one upside down would have been a nightmare. So overall, I think I prefer doing the Seco one. But I'm glad I finally got this one done because it was sitting on my shelf for quite some time. So there you go. That is my experience with the 2000s. I didn't find them particularly daunting to do. I really enjoyed doing them. They did take a bit longer to do. Definitely took more organization. I was using lots of trays and swapping things around, and having to work out what are the dimensions. Are they going to fit on my table? Are they going to fit on the board that I put on top of the table? So the logistics, there's a little bit of effort I had to put into it, but it wasn't anything ridiculous, and I really enjoyed it. And the next step, I guess, is to do a 3,000. Now, I think I've only got about 3,000 puzzles in my collection, but I was thinking maybe in the future I might do a video about them, and then I'll pick one, just the one, out of those 3 to do, and I will try to choose one of a brand that I haven't covered in my 1,500 piece puzzles video, and this 2,000 piece puzzle video. So, but we'll see how that pans out. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed this, my little foray and my little gradual step up to the heady heights of giant puzzles. I will get there eventually, but baby steps. So thank you for joining me, and if you want to see in future that 3,000 being tackled by me, please subscribe, and you'll get a notification when it is up and ready to watch. So I'll catch you later. Thank you. Bye.